Yo, welcome forward to the M Collapsa. Let me do that again. Welcome to the Jet Propulsion Lyrics Podcast. And sitting here with me today, we got none other than InfraBlak. And this is quite interesting because for me, it's been a minute since I seen y'all two together.
It's been a long time.
Good to see you, Collapse All.
Yes,
there, boy,
indeed.
there, boy.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and hey, thank you for coming out, And how could I say this? Y'all just dropped this project.
It's not dropped yet. We just finished the project.
Yeah, y'all finished the project, dropped it in my
Dropped
email.
Dropped it on you.
And I've been listening to it. And I'm blown away. I'm thoroughly impressed. The lyricism, the production, even the little it's time to come home. The cleverness of the whole thing, the intelligence of the whole project.
Respect.
So let's go back a little though. Because we talked to you earlier this year, Mike, right?
Mm-hmm.
About HBK, but enough Fran Flow. How did you discover WHBK?
I discovered HBK when I was 13. I had very little knowledge of hip hop or anything like that, except for the bits and pieces I heard on the radio, your Curtis Blow, your Sugar Hill Gang, and at that point, Run DMC. And I came outside to play. At that time, people in my neighborhood were big on football, so my block had about 12 or 13 young brothers on it. And every day we almost played football. We played football in the front or in the alley, depending on how many people we had. But this one particular Saturday morning, I came outside around 11:30, and my buddy, my lifelong buddy, Drake, came outside, and he said, said, "Man, did you hear it last night?" And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But see, Drake had an older brother,
Okay.
Cedric,
Cedric.
and Cedric was already into hip hop, and Drake was already into hip hop. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, I played with Drake, and I hung out with Cedric a lot.
Okay.
They didn't necessarily, play music. It was more sports and games and tag and football and basketball. But this particular Friday night, something was played that blew Drake away.
Okay.
And I was like, what? And it was Boogie Down Productions' Criminal Minded.
Okay.
They played the album in its entirety.
Okay.
And Drake was like, dude, I got it on this tape. So he got to put out this Tone Master, so he starts playing it.
Okay.
Now, another guy from across the street who was a little bit older named Robert comes outside, and he was like, they got a show tonight too. So now I'm like, what time? So they like, the Saturday show, I think it came on an hour later. I think it came on at 12 instead of 11.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 11 instead, something like that, but it was later.
Okay.
So I knew I had to stay up later
Uh-huh.
on this Saturday, So I stayed up. And man, that night I was introduced to Public Enemy, Schoolie D, Flavor Unit, the 45 King,
Okay.
45 King. Black is back.
Mantronics.
Yeah.
I mean, they was playing. I was like, man, what is it? So now I'm like, all right. So now I'm recognizing it's a whole world out here. Now I gotta find this, and my only source of it was right here on Friday night and Saturday night. Then later on I found that there was a Wednesday night, so that became my routine. You know.
Wow. So that initial injection of Boogie Down production on that tape led to, I gotta find more of this.
Yeah. Before that, it was just okay. That's clever the way they making this. But man, when I heard Criminal Minded, I was like, dude, it's different. It changed me. You know. Then later on, I guess that's when I heard Eric B. and Rakim.
Okay.
I mean, it seemed. See, here's the thing. I'm very much into sports. I'm very much into competition.
Okay.
And I'm also into the respect that comes along with the sport of the competition.
Okay.
All right. And so to me, I started to view this as a respectful sport, whereas they were competing with their poetry over music.
Okay.
You know, and it just had me right there. I was like, man, who's better? Who's this? From the jump, I was like, who's better? Who's,
Right.
And I was comparing, like, man, he can do this, but this music is better. And this, so I'm fascinated by the components, but yet I still have no desire to rap at all. I'm just listening,
So you just listening at this point, and you saying around, 13, 14
right.
years old. So these messages, though, you got Public Enemy with, the first album, it wasn't so much of the pro-black and the Nation of Islam ideology too much in there. But then you had, bits and pieces here and there in the music.
Right. Chuck was coming out really trying to say he was one of the dope MCs.
Yeah.
Chuck was trying, and I was impressed because of their group aspect.
Okay.
Though Boogie Down Productions was a group, you only heard Chuck. I was impressed that, man, this dude got a dude backing him up. And this is before seeing the visuals of S1Ws and stuff like that. I'm like, man, he got somebody, and a couple of rap shows that I had seen, the rapper, when you saw him, he wasn't as good as his song because he was running out of breath, and some of them would come and have to cheat and lip sync in order to keep their breath, and that's what made me say, man, the hype man is real important, or the partner, is real important,
That's true, and at the same time, this is before y'all both ran into each other, right?
Oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, way before.
So you listen to HBK, you hearing the Public Enemy, you hearing Boogie Down Productions. You said Lakim Shabazz in there, right?
Yeah.
Lakim Shabazz.
Run DMC. I think that was the first time I heard HBK when they played Peter Piper.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is
Yeah,
that?
man, like what the?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you hear this?
And cause me, I was listening and I was like finding things to record HBK on. My brother brought this old reel-to-reel, so I hooked the reel-to-reel up to the radio to record HBK and to have 8 hours of
That's dope. That's what's up.
hip hop on the reel-to-reel, and as I'm talking to people doing this podcast, I'm realizing that people went through a lot of things to record HBK.
What they had, yeah.
Look, man, we didn't have it. This is a house town, so all the way until hip hop became totally mainstream.
It was house music.
Everything and all the hip hop in Chicago that was coming out of Chicago was underground. This is the very reason I've stated before in the past. I said per capita, Chicago got more whack MCs, but don't get it twisted. Our whack MCs will wax y'all whack MCs every day because they're more true to the culture. They just happen to be whack.
But I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying because you did have a lot of that coming through the doors HBK because everybody, you know, because I had basically open door policy, you know, because nowhere in the world you could walk into somebody's radio station and be like, yeah, play my tape and get it played like 2 or 3 songs
later
into that rotation. Somebody like, oh, I'll go out, I have my intern listen to it, then I'll finally listen to it. I have to go through 10 people before, you know. Me, you came in, and then we'll get into that later. That back room at HBK, we'll get into that later.
The gladiator room.
But all right. So with hip hop, you know that emergence of hip hop being played, you know, at a young age, you playing it in the house. How did the parents receive y'all playing hip hop?
You had to turn it. You had to put your headphones on and go deep in the cavern of the crib because you don't know what they gonna say. You know what I'm saying? And my mom was like, "Boy, you better turn that down." You know what I'm saying? So
you know, cause you know you had like Schoolie D, all these people who say.
Even at that time, what I did was I had a tone master that would serve as my recording tape.
Okay.
And then on Sunday afternoon, what I would do is I'd take certain songs and put them on one tape and put in other songs on another tape. This is what I knew I could play when mom was home, and this is what I play whenever I wanted to.
Okay.
So I mean, even back then, you know, remember everybody wasn't cussing. You know,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Back then, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was doing things. You understand what I'm saying? And so and them the only ones I can really think of. So please don't judge me according to how they ended up. But
no, but you know, jazz is
Jazzy Jeff's still doing his thing.
You know, and we played them, you know, because they had certain cuts on their albums, as opposed to the single that we played on HBK.
Exactly.
You know, especially with the cuts with Jazz cutting on it,
like the brand new funk.
Yeah, man. You know, so you know he played, Salt and Pepper and early.
Cash Money and Marvelous.
And people get it. I think that's what it is that now,
Super Level C, Casanova Rudd. See, my file clerk and kicked in.
And
Heavy D.
Yeah, Heavy D. Got played, and people forget that these artists, do have, appealing cuts to the commercial audience. Then they had the cuts that appeal to the to the heads, the hardcore heads, and everything So that evolution, you growing up, you listening to this HBK, then you finally hit high school.
Right.
What happens then?
Let me tell you what happened. I ain't never said this before, and I have never seen this dude since, so I'm gonna give him his credit. Let me tell you what happened one day. This is being young and naive.
Okay.
I'm listening to hip hop. I'm writing raps. I'm writing raps, and I'm saying them to myself. I ain't told none of my friends I rap.
Okay.
All right. I go to Lynn Bloom Tech, and at Lynn Bloom, the cafeteria's on the top floor.
Okay.
And I'm a freshman.
What year?
This is 1986. This is fall '86.
Okay.
You transferred in. I forgot.
Fall '80. I'm fall '86. Yep. So I'm my freshman year. So I went to Lynn Bloom. I was separated from my neighborhood friends.
Okay.
My mother felt out. You done tested in, boy. You going to Lynn Bloom. So I'm going to Lynn Bloom now. Got to meet new friends.
Yeah.
So, just so happens I got my HPK tape in my headphones, and at study hall, I got them whereas people could hear them. So a couple of other brothers and started to hang around me, and we starting to rap over the little tapes, the you know,
Okay.
and we having fun. Nothing serious. We just having fun. We rapping about your shirt, my, you know,
Right.
man. So, a few weeks in, this is our routine, and everybody done got a little okay. One day, lunchroom, we go upstairs. Now we doing this in study hall. One particular day, we all, same group from study hall, had the same lunch period. We go upstairs, and it's a big lunchroom. And a crowd formed at the far end of the lunchroom. This lunchroom is huge, all right?
Okay.
It's bigger than some college lunchrooms. So it's a big crowd at the end of the lunchroom. So we like, man, what's going on? What's going on? And we walk down there, stuck our head in the crowd real gingerly because, you know, we freshmen and we thought it might be a fight. But what it was these dudes beating on the table.
Okay.
Boom, boom, tack, tack, boom, 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 tack, boom, boom, tack, tack, boom, 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 tack. And this brother, his name was E.L. Shockwave.
Okay.
All right. He stepped into the middle of the circle and started going bananas. All right.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. He did his thing and he stepped out the center. And another dude walked in who wasn't, he was Huff. Another dude walked in, Huff. So now I'm like, shh, psh. So I jumped in there and I says my corny raps from the study hall.
Okay.
Dude, EL pulled me to the side and said, don't do that no more. And I was like, what's going on? And he just let me know. He was like, man, you young, this is serious. And I was like, okay. So now I'm watching. And boy, a couple of times they was rapping and fights broke out.
Okay.
Because what I did not realize was happening was these were different crews. I didn't know anything about the hip hop scene in Chicago.
Okay.
All right? But now keep in mind, I'm really into HBK.
Okay.
And HBK started having in-studio guests.
Yeah.
All right? And now EL Shockwave is on the radio dissing this other crew that they just got into it. So I'm like, oh my God, this is just like what I'm hearing on the records and stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, boom, and I'm live and direct. End of that year, end of my next year, transfer out.
Okay.
And so now I'm dislocated from that scene.
Okay. So where did you end up?
End up at Luther South.
Okay. So at Luther South, what was you walking into?
At Luther South, I was walking into a whole bunch of dryness that I thought I was in a homogenized scene. Well, actually, I was in a sterilized situation. Because Luther South High School is the petri dish that born the 3 dopest MCs ever in Chicago.
And that's what I was getting to. Because, you know, we talked to the Mike, and he told me the little piece of the evolution of, you know, InfraBlak. So now I got both of you here to tell me, in that petri dish, how did these proteins find each other and bond?
There was a talent show.
All right.
It was our junior year of high school. Actually, Mike was an athlete.
Okay.
I was a struggling student.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna get all into that, but it was a reason why I left Lindblom and wound up at Luther South, because my mother had a plan for me, my education, and it wasn't working.
Okay.
And Mike was an athlete, and we knew the same people. Luther South was a small school, so everybody knows each other, but I didn't necessarily hang out at everything.
Okay.
But I knew people.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a talent show.
Okay.
And there wasn't enough room in the talent show. You got to keep in mind the era that we lived in. Hip hop was not. Nowadays, you do a talent show, everybody gonna rap.
Yeah.
But back then, everybody wanted to be a particular R&B group or something like that, singers, dancers, all that type of stuff. And they wasn't gonna let a lot of hip hop groups in. And there was this one hip hop group that was guaranteed to be in because they were singers.
Okay.
All right. And they came to the audition, but they just showed up, and the teacher that was in charge of the audition was like, "Oh, y'all gonna be in it? All right, okay, cool." So now there's 3 more potential rap acts.
Okay.
Me, Mike, and Marcus.
Marcus Murray? Was that Marcus?
No, not Marcus Murray. His brother named Marcus. He was graduated with us.
He graduated with us?
Yeah. Quiet brother. Other than the fact that he raps, I'm gonna have to find you.
Oh,
Yeah, you remember?
Mark, no, not Henderson. The dude used to sell the cookies.
Yeah, you sell the candy in the class. Yeah,
Yes.
the brother. Yeah, but it was 3 of us,
Okay.
and the teacher said, "All right, I'm letting y'all know up front. All 3 of y'all ain't getting in. We only got room for 1 more.
Okay.
So let's see what y'all got." So now, me and Mike, I'm like, oh man, nah. I plan to rap my version of Lottie Dottie.
Okay.
Alright. I ain't know what Mike had, but
Just heard I Ain't No Joke.
But what
And
y'all
I wrote like, but it was we like about to put it together
Yeah.
like a potluck. Right?
y'all was a
right,
group
right.
at this time?
no.
It was about to be a potluck, right?
And- And what happened was, I spoke with Mike more. Mind you, like I said, I'm more of a loner.
Okay.
I spoke with Mike more than I spoke with Marcus.
Okay.
So when we're sitting here and the other groups are auditioning, I turned to Mike and was like, "Man, it's bogus how they doing this, right?" The teacher said next. Marcus jumped up there figuring if he went first, he thought he was gonna be better.
You'll get the slot.
So he jumped up there and dude was garbage. Alright. Now, I'm figuring I'm gonna get in off the beat of to Lottie Dottie alone. Because my man, he I don't know what he was rapping to, but it was garbage.
Okay.
And he couldn't, and his raps is, man. So I'm thinking, man, I'm like, hey man, look, I got an idea. We're gonna let's do something together, then we'll get in. So I didn't know what the hell he had. He didn't know what I had.
Right.
All right. So we just went up there. I forget whether or not we used I Ain't No Joke or Lottie Dottie. I forget which one of those, but it was one of our tracks. But either way,
I think it was I Ain't No Joke.
I know, okay. And they said, all right, y'all in. Now, we got to come up with something for the talent show in a month.
Okay.
And here we go. Now you putting the gas because something is getting ready to happen.
Okay.
I said, what we gonna rap to? And he said, I know somebody that make tracks.
Got a Reg Vader right there.
'Cause
Well,
he-
Mac 10 back
Because
then.
he grew up.
Yeah?
Yeah, he grew up.
Reg was
Well,
3 doors down from me.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Yep.
Wait a minute. So the first thing y'all did was to some Reggie Vader production.
He
Yes.
was already
He was-
making pause mixes
Yeah.
2 doors down. So we,
Yeah.
at this time we at Foster Park playing ball every day.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I would see Reg on the regular, and then Flux OT
Uh-huh.
was his cousin.
Right.
So OT would come by in the Camaro,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get up in that. I gotta get in that car, right?
Yeah.
We thought they was on already because Flux was a little bit older.
Right.
So he had a Camaro. They would pull
Yeah.
up. They like dog. They doing it for real.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like, man.
Yeah.
So I got a pause mix from Reggie.
Yeah.
And Mac 10 at the time, and it was King E and Iceman Mike right then and there.
So
That's
so
dope.
he sends us
Yup.
the pause mix,
Mhm.
and for the next month after school, we practicing back and forth. All All right. Now, talent show time. Luther South was not one was one of those high schools that was popular, but it looked like they was popular to pick on
Okay.
because we was one of the more popular private schools, but we was not a public school.
It was a public school that you paid tuition.
That's exactly. That's exactly.
It was some niggas.
It was some niggas over there. Right?
Yeah.
So now talent show night. That gym was packed, packed like a basketball game, packed. You know, and we went out there, and of course, since we wasn't seniors, they let the other group have a better slot.
Okay.
Man, we went out there, and we tore the rafters down. To the point, and this started to become a trend, we started to notice. When we were done, the crowd needed water. They had to go to the bathroom. So we're done. And so what they did was, you know, when the groups were done, they would go into the, because a lot of groups had on costumes.
Okay.
So they would go into the locker room and change. So we went, you know, we're done. You know, you come out of one locker room. You do the performance, and you go into the other locker room to change, and that locker room led out into the hallway.
Okay.
So we're in the decompression locker room, right?
Okay.
And me and Mike, we high five. I'm like, yeah, we did it. We go out, and there's a door, the main door for the gym. There's act on, and people are filing out. Giving us high fives, with drinking water. Now,
but somebody's still on stage.
yes. Now, they eventually go back in, and later on, the group that was seniors, they come on, and because they seniors and they were popular.
They had a DJ.
They had a DJ.
Okay.
They were more perform ready. They rocked.
Yeah.
But I think it was more of the shock. Like, man, what these two dudes about to do? When that track came on, and we hit, and the energy. So that was, and it began. So after that, we went into our senior year. It was that summer. And like I said, that actually started our friendship and our bond, because after hanging out every day for a month to get this right, it wasn't like all right, back to like it was. Especially when we had such a crescendo of a situation for what we were preparing for.
Right.
So it wasn't like we said, all right, it's about to be a rap group. We just started hanging out.
Okay. So after that, though, you know, because one thing you said is that you did stress in it is practice. So, so where did this, you know, me, you know, being who I am and listening to the lyrics of InfraBlak, what was y'all reading? What was all this? All this information that's pouring into these rhymes and these rhyme schemes, where's this coming from? Where's this InfraBlak?
Well, we was I was already collecting comic books since, you know, 7th grade. But then, you know, I started, you know, we had some friends at Luther South that were in the Nation of Islam. Plus E was in the Nation of Islam, so I started picking up bits and pieces. And then we had the comic books, we had the newspaper, the Book of Life. We might have something off the news, you know, anything a controversy. You know, we looking around like, look at that book right there. I mean, flip that book up, it might have some weird equations or some philosophies in it. And we just like, you know, anything to fuel a verse, and we had to make sense too. So, you know, that's basically how it's just like a, how you want to say, it's just like a puzzle, but it had to have simile, it had to have metaphor, it had to have punchline, it had to have what I'm saying, a dope intro, a dope outro. It had to be strong in the middle, and then we had our formula, and we just stuck to the formula. So,
Let me tell you, in my opinion, that's exactly it. But let me tell you what started it. Because we used to just rap. We was good. We was just rap. But let me tell you what started it. East of the Rock was recording. I'll never forget this.
Okay.
Yep.
East of the Rock was recording. And we did not know Flux had writer's block. And we in the studio with East of the Rock, and Flux comes over and is like, I got writer's block, I'm gone, y'all. So they finished recording their parts, right? Can you imagine? Flux with writer's block, right? But before he leaves, he stops and he says, Mike, let me see that. And Mike hands him a stack of comic books. So he flips through and he's like, man, y'all niggas be reading this? He said, this shit don't make no damn sense. And then he put them under his shoulder and walked out. Okay? 2 weeks later,
Bet on Diablo. The Secret of Sasquatch.
The Secret of Sasquatch.
I said, yeah.
The Rock is Uncanny, and The Night of the Beast Watch. Those were the subtitles to the
Alpha Flight and like 2 other books that he took. I was like,
literally,
kick your ass.
Literally.
we
We were telling him, we was like, man, Flux, that was cold. How you come up with that? He took the comic books and said, turned the page. He put them down on the table, and he turned the page and said, bet on Diablo. Took the next one, turned the page. The Secret of Sasquatch. Took the next one. The Rock is Uncanny. Then he turned one, and The Night of the Beast Watch. And then he said, from there, I just kept the pattern going.
Okay.
And he said, y'all don't realize that y'all sitting on the arsenal. So from then I said, give me all my comic books. So we got all the comic books, and then we said, okay, and that is the moment that InfraBlak became different.
Okay.
Because we were like, all right, now, these are our weapons. So now the more we read, the more we're able to cross-reference topics.
Right.
You're in trouble now.
So, and that's always been a point I always stress, is that you have to be a good MC, you have to be able to read. You have to be able to read and comprehend and take those things in. And so y'all took all that and flipped it, because you also, wait a minute. How did y'all even get the name InfraBlak?
Oh man,
wait a minute.
We were chilling with East of the Rock, and we was all sitting around drinking or whatever, and they was like, all right, we got to get a name for Ian and Mike's group, right?
Oh man.
And they was like, okay, and they was throwing out like crazy
Mud and Jeff,
and what was that? Flatfoot Nipsey. I mean, they was just coming with anything, anything stupid. So
BMX boys.
That went for like an hour, just making up dumbass shit. So we, I don't know how it came across InfraBlak, but
I think it was either Flux or Reg that said that they wished they had that name before they had Apocalypse Now. Okay. Because they was Apocalypse Now, and then it morphed into the Now. But they had a following, so they couldn't change mid-step. So I was like, oh man. And I said, well, how come y'all didn't use that? And because it sounded more like a superhero type of group, and they wanted more of a rock band feel. Okay. Their approach was that of, they were a hip-hop band. Okay. And so we was like, well, man, that sound good. And we toyed with it because we wasn't going to be straight InfraBlak. was in for black because all the stuff we was reading, we became very conscious, and a lot of our lyrics were so pro-black.
Right.
But then, you know, as we would encounter situations with sucker MCs, you can't kick conscious lyrics to sucker MCs. You got to take them out.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's crazy because of all the groups that ever came across, I wanted to be an InfraBlak.
We actually thought you was an honorary member in the first place.
You know, because when I was writing my rhymes, to impress y'all guys.
Oh, shit.
You know, because I wanted y'all approval. I wanted, y'all to say, Collapse is dope.
Damn.
Collapse, I used to hear your stuff and be like, dang, my vocabulary is lacking.
Right.
Like,
You was already, you was.
No, I wanted to be like y'all.
You had to. We was definitely listening. I'm like, okay, shit. Keep writing.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was my goal. I was like, I wanted InfraBlak to like my rhymes.
Damn.
I sat at home like,
Respect.
I can't wait to go to Red's basement so I can recite my rhymes.
Yeah, I remember. I used to be like, man, are you hearing the words that he is using? I was like, man, if somebody ever stops him and puts him on tempo, it's over for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my...
You was saying some verses on the air, too.
Yeah.
I remember.
But that was my whole thing. I wanted to be an InfraBlak.
Brother, let me tell you, if you'd
I
have
didn't
just,
want to be in any other group.
if you'd have just said that, we could have. There was things that we could have done.
Well,
You could have been the Stan Lee of the
Right.
of the-
Right. You could have narrated it.
But it turned out how it turned out, and it turned out perfect. And I'm because me coming across y'all was just like, damn, these dudes is, shit, they better than Kool Keith and Said G.
As we were rhyming and recording and doing shows, we always prepared ourselves for what we felt was the inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
We honestly thought and was preparing for a verbal contest with Ultramagnetic.
Okay.
And then later on, we stayed prepared for a verbal contest against Organized Confusion.
Oh man, those some clashes right there.
Those were the only groups we prepared for.
Try to set my Richter scale for
Anybody else that we had heard at that point, we was like, yeah, we got moves for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being a team in an up and coming team in the West, and you gotta prepare for Golden State.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta prepare for whoever is the next one. You know what I'm saying? It's two teams that all right, we up and coming, but once we get in the playoffs, we gonna see one of them, if not both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in all of this, preparing in Ridge Basement, and whatnot, how did y'all get down to HBK? What brought y'all down to HBK eventually?
Reg and them wouldn't let us rap, man. The reason why we're so good is because they wouldn't let us rap.
No?
They wouldn't let us rap. It was like learning how to play basketball with people that already play basketball.
Okay.
And them telling you can practice, and you can practice with us.
Mm-hmm.
But even in practice, you can't shoot. So imagine that. When y'all just out shooting 21, you killing them, you doing everything. But they say, okay, now this is official practice. So we running plays.
Okay.
And all you doing is running up and down the court, getting the rebound, giving it to them. Run up and down the court, getting the rebound, giving it to them. And that's it. Imagine that. And you could So now that made us, when we got away from them. See, like I said, we forged a tight friendship. So it wasn't just hip hop,
Okay.
but it was always hip hop. Yo, let's go check out the new Star Wars. All right, cool. On the bus,
Okay.
freestyle. Back and forth, back and forth, back. Hey, let's go downtown, check out some girls. Downtown, walking, freestyle. It was
Beat bars,
beat-
freestyle. And we used to hoop real hard. Ephraim got this move. He got the Statue of Liberty finger roll. I ain't seen nobody duplicate that shit on the street. It's an inverted 360 in the air finger roll, but it's unorthodox. It goes the other way.
It's the other way around.
And he don't never miss that shit. I was like, okay, you got to do that shit today.
So our breath control was up. We was always practicing.
Okay.
We to us it wasn't, hey, like, let's practice. It was like, what up, man? Oh, that's good. Check this out. Okay, now what we doing today? And as we're doing that, it was always because of the love of hip hop. Then we recorded a demo. We recorded a couple songs, and we always had it with us.
Okay.
All right. And so they used to call East of the Rock down. And what you didn't know was, you called East of the Rock, you was calling InfraBlak.
You calling us too. We was like that cousin at that barbecue.
Yeah,
y'all remember me?
Yeah,
I'm popping up.
Yeah. So they would call, and we'd go. And we'd hang out, so they got to know our face. But they wouldn't play our stuff. They would. I mean, we didn't know what it was. I mean, we gave them the demos. I mean, but then one day, Flux was like, we're going to do Collapse All show. And Flux spoke of you as if we should have already known you.
Right.
And he spoke of you in the sense of they already knew you, because we're around them almost every weekend. I'm like, Collapse All? You're like, yeah, massive Collapse All. We're going to Collapse All show. He got a show. Okay.
He was like, grab the tape.
So now they're down there and they're doing their thing, and back to that back room. We didn't have nothing to do, and once again, it was anytime we didn't have nothing to do, that's what we did.
Battling each other.
So, do you remember walking up those stairs to come up to the
castle?
Studio?
Yeah. I remember being like, man, what the hell is this?
Yeah, water dripping.
Yeah, man. I remember a bunch of stuff that happened up in that corridor and the doors, that when you couldn't open one door, another door would open, and the room with the records. I mean, I remember a lot of things. I remember my best,
fondest memory.
my fondest memory was we came to HBK by ourselves. It was one of the few. It was one of the times when we started being on. We came to HBK by ourselves, no East of the Rock. And by this time, we're established. We were starting to get established. And when we got there, it was a lot of rap groups waiting to hand their tape. And we walked past everybody, like, excuse me.
Watch your foot there.
Well, yeah, excuse me.
Pardon me.
Coming through. And we got to the door, and I think the door was closed, and they was like, so I said, okay. We knocked, and somebody opened the door. And he was like, yeah, you got the InfraBlak tape. They was like, I took it, closed the door.
Right.
So we,
like,
so it was like, what just? So now we leave. Excuse me. And we get Mike's car, turn on HBK, and by the time we got to 55th Street, Who wanna battle? Come and battle me, clown. Who wanna battle? Come and battle me. We were like, oh my goodness, they playing it. They playing it like that, that quick. They got it and went straight on. And we was like, okay, now it's on. Now it's on. And
Collapse, I'll be like, yeah, I got this project. And he's like, and it just, it's like, as soon as you wouldn't even finish the sentence, it just press play.
I remember one time, it was this group from Chicago. I don't remember what they was, but they wasn't that good, I don't think. But you were playing them. You gave everybody a chance. And they were playing. And you already laughing because you know what you did. You already laughing. They was playing. And then halfway through their song, he faded in. You're gonna hear a click before you hear a boom. You're gonna hear a click. Man, start fading out stuff. I cried. I was like, oh my goodness. And it started, because what started, you have to combine that. See, let me tell you, like I said, competitive sport and competition and stuff. I also, as a child, I was a wrestling fan.
Okay.
In Chicago hip hop, InfraBlak is the World Warriors.
Okay. I like that.
And if you really used to watch wrestling back in the day and you really knew about the Road Warriors, you knew that together they were unstoppable. But alone, they might have been. They were formidable, but they wasn't world champion. You understand? The way that we used to hit the stage was patterned after the Road Warriors. When it was our turn, you had 10 seconds to get off the stage. All right? And that comes into some parts of Drake and all that stuff. But you had 10 seconds to get off stage. If not,
we bum rushing.
And there were several crews that got bum rushed. Several situations. We even had one that went bad with it.
We almost had a fight. It was like, InfraBlak fight too much.
Yeah.
But do you remember being there with RZA and Method Man?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Look, I don't tell that story.
Yeah, you gotta tell that story.
Because won't nobody believe you. Won't nobody believe you, man.
Yeah. That's why I gotta, I always talk about this because people don't know.
Look, man. All right, yeah.
All I know is you God did not open his mouth.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not doing nothing. Meth.
It was Meth and RZA.
Meth and RZA went for theirs. Look here, to set the record straight. There was a Souls of Mischief concert. They got canceled. The promoter did whatever he had to do to get somebody in there because tickets was already sold. Wu-Tang Clan filled in. They did not bring the whole Wu-Tang Clan. They brought You God, one of the brothers that was one of the road managers. He actually performed with them doing backup. It was Method Man and it was RZA, and they rocked the show. It was dope. I had never heard of Wu-Tang before. I didn't know, but a few months later was the first time I heard Protect Your Neck. Okay. So at this point, they're regular MCs from out of town. And they're about to get the Chicago treatment as far as we're concerned, even though you rock the show and we respect that. All right. So we're in the crowd, we're watching them doing their thing, and it's dope. I'm like, man, that's dope. So somebody told them about HBK, and being good businessmen and artists that they are, that HBK was still going to be going on after they went on. So they spun out and they were going to HBK, and we got word. Flux got word because we were all at the show. So we were like, man, forget whoever's going on. Let's get these dudes. Now if they get these dudes, maybe we're going to go try to physically accost them or do something to them. No, it was about hip hop. We wanted to rap battle. So now we drive up there and we met downstairs in the foyer. and they cool. They was cool, bro. They cool brothers, and we found out that we had a lot of things in common. Them being 5%ers and me being a 5%er, and you know we talked, and everything was cool. But now we about to go. So yeah, we about to introduce you to our man. Yeah, we're gonna introduce you to Collapse. So come on upstairs. Come on upstairs. So we get upstairs, and you did your interview, and it was and I could tell by the shifting of your eyes that you was like, all right, I'm about to set these dudes up for the slaughter. So you track started playing, and they started going in. And
after this thing,
we started going in, and they went back and forth, and we went back and forth, and the final word was one particular MC saying, and it wasn't nobody from Chicago, saying, "I'm out of here. These dudes is out for heads." And and when that was said, Flux was still rapping, and one of them that was like, "No, I got them." Flux was still rapping, and when Flux hit his last punchline, dude said, "I'm not going on after that. I have a reputation to protect." Now, that's what happened, and there it is. I mean, and they went on to become one of my favorite rap groups.
Yep. And even if you look in that tape, the insert, it would say, "Shout out to the Chicago mob."
Okay.
This is 92.
So this is what he's talking about.
I'm talking about the mob that came down there.
Chicago mob.
And I suspect, I can't prove it because I don't know exactly, but RZA took a chunk of records.
Yeah.
But see, we tried to send him to the wax stack.
He was like,
and he went and made some nitroglycerin with that shit.
He said, "So is this y'all catalog?" And Flux was like, "Yeah, you know, we come up and pick records faster." And next thing you know, he just reached and just grabbed a chunk of records and they broke out with him. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I always wondered, did he use those records to sample? I don't know what he took. He
took a chunk of records. I remember JP Chill chasing him down the stairs trying to get the records back. You know, because he's like, come here. You know, he's like, I got these chunk of records, and I'm like.
We were all like snickering, like,
yeah, it was funny.
Like we sent him to the wax stack.
Shit, like,
RZA found some killers in there. You better believe he did.
Yeah, actually did, because I talked to him for a while after that, and he was like, "Yo, you need to send me some more records."
Right.
You know,
we thought we was doing something like.
Hey,
we went and found some heat.
But that was the usual business, though. You know, with InfraBlak in the HBK studio is like, anytime MCs came through there, they call themselves MCs, rappers, players, hustlers, whatever. It didn't matter. You know, it was like, hey, somebody go let InfraBlak in. I sent somebody downstairs, open the door, and y'all just had that look.
Because
like somebody threw the raw meat in the cage. You know.
Mouse in the python cage.
It was just like, what up? And then it was like, mic's on, and it just. And I felt bad for a lot of the people in that back room. Because they would walk in and be like.
It almost got to bully status. It seriously almost got to bully status. Like, our rule was, I mean, you know, we figured wasn't nobody dope as us. All right, that's the attitude that we had.
Okay.
Then, but everybody got their lane. But when you mess around and get in our lane, we're gonna run you over.
Okay.
You know,
this is just the competitive nature.
Yeah, it was
the competitive nature and like a territorial. It was almost like a territorial kind of thing. So, for an MC to just come, we thought like we was like, this is ours. that was our mentality. This is ours right here.
And it was detrimental in a lot of way because I have very few actual friends that weren't in our circle in hip hop.
Right.
Whereas Mike has more friends. I didn't make friends.
Okay.
Well, those weren't really. They weren't really friends. They were more like acquaintances or like connections.
Are you
And
talking about the other groups that
Yeah.
y'all
Yeah.
revolved around? Or revolved around y'all atmosphere?
well, we had
Those I'm still friends with.
we
because
still
they-
had those friends, but a lot of those guys was just more like of what can we get out of hanging around.
InfraBlak.
Yeah, those weren't really, because you can see them now, and I could get a candy bar from one of them niggas. So it was like a lot of our main crew are still our main crew.
Yeah.
So, all right, because he alluded to this earlier about whack MCs could still be dope, right? Am I paraphrasing it?
in their own world.
In
No,
their
I
own-
said Chicago per capita. Per capita mean
But I don't mean to cut you off, but within y'all circle, nobody could really be whack though.
No, because they still had to practice with us.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Even the weakest link had to be
Yeah.
stronger than
Yeah,
the weakest link
Definitely.
on the
definitely,
outside of that circle.
definitely. And in our crew, in A2W, allergic to whack, the weakest link knew that he's the one that people gonna step to first,
And he had to
and so he had to be. So wasn't nobody.
take those sword stabs first. Get back up. Fall to the back.
Yeah,
Heal up and So y'all at the top of the pinnacle here. Where do y'all go from there? Because I mean, still lyrically, like you said, it's been 18 years since you picked up the mic, right? Officially.
yeah. It's been a long time.
No, he picked up the mic. 'Cause I would like, okay, I got a project. I want you to do a song with me, and I would go and get his ass, and he would,
Here and there.
yeah,
Like, break them out like Murdoch.
yeah, yeah.
But nothing
Nothing super
serious,
serious,
and
yeah.
nothing.
But
Constant.
Yeah.
Doing this like you used to do it.
No.
You ain't did this like in so long.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
What made you come together to do this?
Well, I'm getting old, and I'm like, okay, like I went through a tough period in the late '90s, like a little depression and being separated from my kids, so we caused a lot of problems, and for the business or whatever. And even though we still completed our projects and we took care of a lot of business or whatever, I felt I owe Ephraim another album. And I tracked him down and I got in touch with Reg. I put some beats aside. I asked Reg to put some beats aside, and I cornered Mid and I was like, let's build, let's talk about this and that. Let's talk about life first. And then I broke the question of let's do another album. And then he thought about it for 24 hours, called me the next morning, he said, let's do it. And we're going to do it this way. And I said, okay, sounds good. And then every Thursday we met up at Reg's. Next thing we looked up, we had an album.
So how hard was it for you to get back in front of this mic like almost full time?
Bro, let me tell you. In truth, I was very apprehensive because I'm originally in the group. Though we were 100% equal in this group, but for some reason I was dubbed or billed the front man or the person that does all the talking. I think that was because I talk a lot of trash. All right, and since
No,
we,
he talks.
and since we and since we're a more of a competitive style rap group, hip hop group, we they used to say, Ephraim, you know, but I'm sorry, I phased out. What is the question?
How hard was it for you to get back into this?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I said I was apprehensive. So I didn't want to come back and people be looking like, all right, what the point guard got to say, and the point guard's handles is not as good. And so I was telling him, I was like, Mike, I'm telling you, I can write this. But it's been years, and I don't know if I can say it as how I write it. And he was like, dude, you got this. You got this.
I said, give me the enough rhyme flow shit. And the first song, we was like, okay, the first song is going to determine the rest of the album. And the first song came out hard as hell. And then...
Which one is the first song?
We remixed it. It was Again and Again.
Again and Again.
Okay.
And it came, we was like, okay, all right, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, not bad.
That, first time recording back together. And then it was just like, we just build off of that. And then, you could tell him getting more used to his main element. He was back in his element. It didn't take much at all, really, And I kind of like, how they do you at the damn, what's that where they had the gong show? How they do you see the hand push you from behind the curtain?
Yeah.
That's what I did to Ephraim in the studio. I kind of just pushed him up to the mic, and then, he just, got back to himself. It really wasn't.
I almost wish that you can get some of the first takes, so you could really, for this particular question you're asking, I wish you could get some of the first takes, because we recorded the songs, and then of course I always had to go back in, because Mike was like, all right, now bring enough rhyme flow to the studio. It was a definite difference. It was a difference. I didn't at the time. I didn't have the. I had the rhymes, like I said. I didn't have the delivery.
Okay. Because I would always see Vader on the bus. I come home from work. He come home from work. He'd be like, yeah, he told me what was going on. He'd be like, yeah, they putting the InfraBlak is doing a project. You should come down there and check it out. And I stayed away purposely, because I wanted to hit a finished product.
Okay.
But he would always give me updates. Like this is and like me listening to the final product, I'm thoroughly impressed, because
I am glad you like it.
I'm glad you like it, brother.
And I guess I'm guilty of this, is that I just see y'all as a unit. So, like, if I'm speaking of enough rhyme flow, I'm speaking of Mike. If I'm speaking of Mike, I'm speaking of enough rhyme flow, And I guess, I understand y'all individuals, but for me, it was just this cohesive, bond, And that's the way I liked it.
That's beautiful.
Because it's the product, the music, I don't even know what to call it, the sounds of universe y'all put out is well blend. It blends where it needs to blend. You know what I mean? It comes together where it's like he's rhyming, then like how Run DMC used to trade off on the mic. At one point, you didn't even, you didn't
notice anymore.
You didn't notice it no more. It just happened. And that's what, me listening to this.
Like I said, remember I gave you the comparison of the Road Warriors? Well, another comparison I like to use is a track. You have individuals that can win individual races, and then you got the track team. Me and Mike are the 2-man relay. Ain't nobody beating us in the 2-man relay. You got a chance in a 1-man relay. I mean, a 1-man race around the track. You got a chance, but probably not. But in the 2-man relay, you can't beat us. And I like to say that because you on a track. Just like you say, turn on the track. You know, you're running. So the pass of the baton is so important. So we focused on the pass of the mic in our rap group, in our act. And here's something a lot of people didn't know. You know, our show was the cornerstone of our popularity.
Yeah.
Now, here's what you didn't know. We were so pumped up all the time that very seldom did we actually perform the song.
Yep.
Almost. I don't think there was more than 1 or 2 InfraBlak shows, and I think we thought those were bad shows. There were more than 1 or 2 InfraBlak shows where we actually did
rehearsed material.
Yeah. So often the beat came on, we started out, and something happened, and we gave each other the look like throw it all
just
in,
go
and our timing, our practice,
the beatbox,
any track you threw on, you know, a lot of MCs don't have timing. You know, we got plays like a quarterback.
Okay.
Hear the track, and a lot of times he'll call him out, but most of the time
trips up right on 3.
He'll say, "What's the play?" And we'll call a play. And what these plays are, these are the particular rhyme patterns that we'll use. So I know how long he's gonna rap.
Okay.
And I know I gotta get it on this count.
Okay.
You know, and he knows this is how long he's gonna rap. So I gotta get it on this count.
And catch that last word.
And yes, and that used to be the InfraBlak show. To the track that was an actual InfraBlak song. You know, so it was almost like you never knew what treat you're gonna get. You just, you know, it was something. It was something.
So, what is the importance of Drake in this mix of InfraBlak?
Drake was our manager for a while.
Okay.
I grew up with Drake, and it's one of my best friends.
Okay. Y'all not related?
We are,
Okay.
but not to a point where as I would go to my actual family reunion. He goes, his actual family reunion is one of those things where you trace it back and you find out, oh man, we're related.
Okay.
All right. It's just that we have the same last name, and it's a strong last name through the males, and we wound up on the same block. We did the genealogy to find out, yeah, that's what it is. But
that's crazy.
We wouldn't have never known that.
I thought y'all was related.
No. Very, like I said, we are.
And you know what I mean?
But I'm not talking about way back in Africa days. I'm talking about like, yeah, I got it. That's
okay.
You know, but it wouldn't have never came up if somewhere down the line my last name or his last name hadn't been changed.
Okay.
You understand? But it just so happens that it come out, we still got the same last name, and you know.
So that brother Drake.
And so Drake was the first person when like I said, I come back we in Luther South. We starting this rap group. We got our first demo, and I say, you know, I go down this block, and I say, Drake, boom, they gonna play us on HBK, And Drake was like, they ain't gonna play y'all on HBK. So they played it because at this point, Drake had just come home. It was the summer he had come home from school. I think it was after his sophomore year.
Okay.
And he said, man, they ain't gonna play you on HBK. I said, they gonna play us on HBK, man. Watch. And they played us on HBK. You guys played us. And the next morning, Drake said, hey man, you ever thought about taking this serious? I was like, I am taking it serious. He said, no. Taking it serious. And I was like, what are you talking about? So that's when he had a chance to meet, introduce him to Reg and Flux. And whereas Mike and I were around them absorbing the proper way to do the art of hip hop, Drake was eyeing the proper way to get us shows.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Then we started getting shows. All right. And this is the part where everybody saw Drake. They didn't know Drake was doing all that, but this is where they saw Drake. We would show up. Now remember, you remember we were talking about the Road Warriors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how they used to do the interviews and stuff, and then the manager for the Road Warriors would get them pumped up?
Okay.
That was Drake. All right. We would be at a show having a good time. We're both single. We're slightly popular. There are ladies everywhere in this spot. We've got a show. We're getting ready to go on. There's other groups going on. We get a tap on the shoulder. Let me holler at y'all. A couple of seconds later, we're in the washroom, holding a beer, getting yelled at. And I'm looking at
These
my
marks and here's some chunks.
These
Y'all get it.
these marks, and he's pacing like a football coach.
Okay.
And he's telling us, God damn it, I know y'all ain't about 79th Street is not gonna allow this. We will not up in it. But here, let me tell you how much control he had.
Okay.
He's going off, he's red in the face.
Uh-huh.
But prior to him doing that, he has made sure InfraBlak goes on next. You sure? Okay, this is InfraBlak's music. Play this. As soon as that group goes off, just play it. Okay? And this is the art of the bum rush. He's hyping. He's listening. He's hyping. And then the song goes on. Then he kicks open the door of the bathroom. He's like, go. And I hit, and Mike normally went first, and Mike would hit the stage on the one. Bow. Now we're coming to stage. You seen the closest visual I can give you was it was pretty much modeled after how KRS-One bum rushed the stage in the My Philosophy video, because by now we have formulated our own crew, and they met us there and everything, and they're standing outside the bathroom. They're used to this.
Okay.
When that door came open, we're walking to the stage. You know, Mike grit, and we go in. Boom. If there's people on stage, they're getting moved. You know what I'm saying? And it was the energy.
Okay.
Energy.
It was
always energy.
Always the
Energy.
energy. And we would tire out the crowd, and that was our niche.
So he's dead. You already got this nuclear power vehicle, and he hooks it up to the nuclear reactor, and it's just
the flux capacitor. That's
Yeah. You've already got two hungry pit bulls.
right.
And he starts poking them with a stick, and then he throws the meat out there. That's what he used to do.
So, who was the other crews that revolved around InfraBlak, or in this solar system?
It wasn't. Look, I hear what you're saying, and I understand, but I don't want to make it sound like we were a centerpiece.
No.
It was. I know. I just because there's going to be people listening.
Okay.
And we're not in an era where people can correct it, because a lot of them don't do hip hop no more.
Okay.
So we were in a crew. We were in an actual crew. It was a crew called A2W, Allergic to Whack. and they had New Birth,
Okay.
which is I had Precise, Creole,
And Weasel.
and Weasel,
Rest in peace.
and we had Tommy Boy,
Oh, Amin Rock.
Amin Rock, and that was
That was big. Oh,
that-
and K Max.
oh,
Kevin Max.
Kevin Maxey,
Yep.
DJ K Max
Wait a minute.
is A2W.
Yep.
He's a founding member of A2W.
He's on HBK now.
Yes, he is.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
That was the DJ.
he was a DJ for our crew. Yep.
I learned something today.
Yeah, man. There it is.
Give me some insight.
And I can kick myself for almost forgetting it. I'm glad you didn't.
Oh no,
Because
he played our stuff a lot too.
Yeah,
when you
I gotta give him his propers. A2W started at Southern Illinois University
he knew him
in
at school.
1990, the fall of 1990. We were such outcasts at SIU because the house music followed us to Carbondale in college. And we were such outcasts that we had to throw small parties ourselves.
Okay.
Luckily, Kevin had a job at the radio station playing Dusties.
Okay.
But from his position, he was able to order records for the radio station that cared absolutely nothing about hip hop. So for his entire time there, he just ordered all the hip hop. So
Okay.
it amassed his collection of records.
Okay.
Then he started throwing hip hop parties, and we established hip hop at that school. And from there, we came home. Some people came home and started doing hip hop here in Chicago.
Okay.
And so the crew just congealed around the same time InfraBlak started moving around. The Amin Rock decided he did not want to pursue. He was in it. He literally was in it for the love. And like I'm in a crew. New Birth. They had I think
Paris.
they had two projects, and there was another brother who just was in it because
He actually
he
was like
was
a
cultural.
light guy. He did lights in
for stage
the
hands.
stage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Paris.
Paris. Yeah.
And New Birth had two projects. Peace to Creole, Precise.
Peace to, and, yeah. Once again, rest in peace to Weasel. You know, he was definitely neck and neck with us through the thick of it. And can't forget that brother. You know, he made a lot of beats for Precise, some bangers, a lot of that butter shit. You know, and but yeah, definitely. You know, like I say, we got to take our hat off to you, brother Collapso. It was just inspiration, and you kind of inspired the album too.
Did I?
Yeah.
How so?
Because we always talk about you, and we was like, we gotta give Collapso some heat, you know, and that's when, you know, kind of, it definitely was some of the input that fueled what we were doing, you know. We like you say, you was always trying to impress us with your lyrics. We gotta get some heat for Collapso, you know. So it was kind of back and forth, you know, with the, you know, kind of reciprocation. It was a reciprocation between you and us, you know, as far as the inspiration, you know what I'm saying? So
Because you was telling me about y'all talked about the shirt.
Yeah. What happened was, on my end, I got wind that you were doing the T-shirts, and you had sent word out. So I wanted to make sure that we were involved. So when I did what you asked for on the thread, a few weeks later when the shirt was done, I felt obligated to make sure that Mike knew about it.
Okay.
So I didn't have all his contact information. So, but I knew how to get in contact with him. So I made sure that somebody made sure that he knew about it. And then people were talking to me about the potential of other groups that were on the T-shirt still doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I started hearing about other groups that was still, you know, rocking in their circles, doing their thing, and I totally respect that. Still, wasn't worried about it. It wasn't, because I got a few things that keep me busy.
Yeah.
And I got a message, and it was Mikael, and he was like, man, congratulations. And I was like, yeah, congratulations to you. I was like, man, we finally get our props.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, what's up? Let's holler. Hollered, and I was like, all right, and here we go.
So, how long has it been since y'all had spoke like that?
We spoke intermittently. It wasn't like we was mad at each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that life,
Yeah. But see, that's the thing is that, I had stopped doing HBK in 2000, early 2000,
Yeah.
January 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't seen really nobody once I stopped doing the show. Facebook,
I saw you that one time. I forgot where we were, and I saw you, and we kicked it for like an hour, something like that. Just,
Yeah,
I think
bro.
we were sipping something.
Life happened,
Yeah,
man.
life
So
is
I mean,
real.
I would catch up with him, and we'd run into each other, or we would run in more often than not. We would run into mutual friends very soon after they ran into the other one.
Yeah. Because I ain't seen you in about 18, 20 years.
Brother, I've been all over the planet, and that's no.
But in a sense, it's a good thing because we come back now, almost 20 years later, and we sitting down talking about travels, memories, and all of this. And to be able to sit down and have these conversations is the most important thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is my life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As individuals are part of my life because at that segment, you understand what I'm saying? The things that are being, like my man say, the seeds that are planted.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these seeds are starting to sprout now. And to me that's more important than, me being famous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, me being Puff Daddy rich.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like I tell my son all the time, I know lyricists.
Yeah, that was never our goal. Let me tell you, honestly, I wanted to be about as popular as, say, now, like a
KRS.
Well, yeah, that's pretty. That's
KRS
real popular.
He's comfortable. He's really comfortable, and he's not. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. He don't have to take. You don't have to drink no blood.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to hit no dude from behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He got his own lane, and that looked comfortable enough for me as well.
And that's why, like I say, this is important for me to have y'all here.
Respect.
Because, even just having y'all come through HBK, it's like, yeah, I lit up because I like, the lyricist is coming, the battle MCs, and I'd be sitting there and I'd just be like, okay, they on their way up here. And these guys, they be like deers in the headlights, Yeah, we at the station and they looking around and they just get on the mics and I tell people all the time is that, that mic gonna bring it out of you. Either you got it or you don't.
You don't. And here, let me. This is why I said it almost got to bully status. Once we graduated high school and we had started, we've been practicing and we've got this group, and right before we started doing shows regularly, but we still have access to HBK, we would sit up and listen to HBK.
Mm-hmm.
And we would hear that another group is in studio, or it's a studio full, and we almost felt like you was setting people up because you would announce who's in the studio, and you wouldn't. I don't know if we got enough time. We're gonna try to make time for everybody to rap, and
Allegedly.
and what would happen is I don't know if you was delaying the show to give us time to get there, or if you really didn't want them to rap, but we would be sitting there. And we be like, all right.
We have our shoes off.
We have our, and had our
eating a plate of fish.
had our bus fare ready. And
wait a minute, y'all was taking the bus down HBK?
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Or like we had, Weasel would drive sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's
The guy Karu would drive. We had, we had a couple
that's
of
that. But see,
boys
that's
get up there.
that
If necessary.
to take the bus because a lot of people they don't even put the effort into any of that now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know.
We definitely
Snow.
Y'all didn't matter.
We didn't snow.
Didn't matter. Didn't matter.
And see that's and this was
That's hip hop.
that's hip hop, and and people now like I can't come out because you had the rain, you got the snow on the ground, it's cold.
That door already closed.
You know, I got a hangnail. I can't rhyme because I got a hangnail. And stuff like that. And I guess with me is that I guess this thing of people saying that in hip hop you got a expiration date. No other music they do that.
Well, here, let me. I've done some critical analysis of hip hop, and you have an expiration date for their usage of you.
Okay.
That's what it is. Hip hop was spearheaded by the youth.
Mm-hmm.
So they view it solely as a youth music. All right, and this is what was, like I said, I've sat in some rooms, and this is what they've told to me. So since they view it as a youth music, you have from 16, 17 to age 23 as your usefulness as a artist to the industry.
Okay.
All right. You don't see rappers 25. Though there are rappers that are 25, but you don't see them getting these popular pushes and popular deals. It's always these young cats that's barely out of high school that they giving them these whack ass record deals nowadays, and they pushing them out, and they big
playing
stuff
with their brains and running them like they're puppeting. They're treating them like puppets.
So unless they have a niche. For instance, like Drake has a niche because teenage Caucasian women like Drake. So he's more on the level of an R&B singer than he is hip hop. That's how he's treated. He's that's how they treat him. But once these young dudes are of a certain age, they're no more usefulness to the industry. So the industry spits them back to the community. But they were never MCs from the community, so their career is dead because they can't go from being heard and seen all the time to please listen to my new song, or I'm doing this for the love.
Yeah.
Not to mention the financial entrapments that they have entangled into the contracts for them to get the money back that they give you up front. There's nothing to sustain them long range. Everybody that's dealing with them is in ready to jump ship mode.
Okay. So this is the landscape now.
That's the landscape.
So what are we expecting? What can I expect from InfraBlak in the future though? Because I'm looking forward. Y'all done gave me You know, I'm the panther that's locked in the cage with this steak now. So, cause you know, I'm of a certain age set where you know we want that hip hop that we grew up with,
yeah,
that we love. So,
yeah.
you know,
This is what we got. This and
is this a swan song?
no, no. It's you familiar with John Henry?
Yeah.
This is a John Henry situation.
Okay.
You've got 18 years of built up tricks and ideas, and we know that we're not gonna beat this colossal industry. So we getting ready to concentrate everything and just release a bunch of stuff, do a bunch of shows, and give everybody what they want while we're still able.
Okay.
There are no aspirations of being a superstar or nothing like that.
It's hip hop. It's the love. It's what you get up. You know, you get out the bed in your drawers. You make beats. You write rhymes on toilet paper. You know, paper. You got to pay your bills. You know what I'm saying. You got a car note. You got rent. You know, you got to feed. You know, make sure your seeds is eaten. And you got hip hop.
In every city,
every day.
In every city, there's still a hip hop community.
Yeah.
All right. So what our plan is to tap into all of those.
Okay.
And bring our brand of hip hop to each of them, as long as they'll have us.
As long as the rabbit hole goes, we going. And that's how it's gonna be right now.
And I'm going for the ride.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we gonna lead the people with something.
Always.
Go ahead, man. Okay. All right. Check this out. There's rappers out there wanna step till I'm mad. I bend them backwards, just like flamingo legs. Rhyme flow, I slam niggas like Sid Vicious. Unorthodox off the top with the lyrics. See the way I rearrange grills, I need to be a dentist. Rip MCs from start to finish. I'm hearing what you're saying about the gravel in my socks. Come from farming in the homeland of my city's vacant lot. See, I'm trouble when I'm by myself. I don't need nobody else. InfraBlak is back together, now you need some help. And that look on your face could be hazardous to your health. Cause I believe in these things like it's part of my religion. I put two in your wrist, just like you was Christian. Have your face down, just like you was Muslim. And cathedral bells are ring from the lead baptism. Used to rob these rappers over rhythms, make them tuck their chains. And now I put lead in their brains. Enough rhyme flow off the top with it. Make sure it's freestyle, that way I can't forget it. None of this written down. South side of Chi-Town or Chirac, well, hell of y'all is whack. Hell of y'all is dope, but we can't mix them together. I change it up just like some stormy weather. Wish I could beatbox so I could reciprocate. Then Mikael could let these suckers know that they are fake. Faker than fake, faker than a replica. From the holy sepulcher, in the basement of the Mars. In the Masala, I pay the cost. Off the top of the dome, my status is like that of Galactus. Eat your style and shit the sun, moon, and stars. Heads be like, damn, Farad must write his bars. Boy.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
What you should do, I wish you could do, is like play a track.
See me on Sunday, take off on the runway, flight, stage fright, never sever your head, clever, ever clear, burn them up with the match, scramble your brains, do the cabbage patch with your spine, 9 born, blow my horn, Mikael with the sound on the last days, the revelation, constant elevation.
Sucker rappers wanna come through. I tell them, I'm about to wreck you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That's the proper way to begin before I wreck your home team. Enough rhyme flow, you know the squad. You know the lessons. I be the God. You don't want none of me, cause if you did, you'd have bought it. You must have seen the last way that your man caught it, cause he said he had a hot 16. I spit 4 bars, wrecked your whole team. You see the Visine in your third eye, and now you wanna try. Why is often asked by the 85.
Back like your shoulder blades, the boulder made. Boulder made a crater in the earth. That's the woman, the wisdom, reflection of the light. No stage fright. I see the sky. I see the oxygen. I'm stopping men. Watch out for the toxics in your food. Rip it to the interlude. I'm in the mood for hip hop. No lip lock. Fresher than Ziploc. Coming back tip top shape. Watch out for the landscape. InfraBlak, black man with the cape. Superhero rappers get zero in the cipher. The Pied Piper get it hyper with Limanos. Knock them down like dominoes. InfraBlak in the sack, play like Pat. Needle in the haystack. Get them
under the moon and the stars. I shine off to the top of the dome. I got rhymes. Sorry I'm late, but I ain't wanna come early. Heads was bobbing like blowjobs over this dope beat. What can I say? Collapse all bless me. Mikael added on and now the rest is history. I can spar the forest fire, but I don't like woods. Took a trip to the mountains, now the God is all good. And it's just a little something, not much or nothing. Off the top, I keep it funky like the beat is bumping like a pothole. In Chicago, it's break your axle. Yeah, niggas ain't down to battle. As if they was, they'd have said what they wanted to do, but still watch their cruise.
Cruise, switch the fuse in the box. Snatch arms out of the socket. Rock it till I can't stop. Then I go, flow, pick out your afros. Faggots on they dildos. I'm a black man, I love the queen. Beans and rice, it's Mike Trice. Ice step, just like an alpha. You today the delta. Heat up and I melt ya. Welcome into the dome. Shalom, salam. I drop bombs like Saddam and then say, hey mom, gotta get the garbage, take it to the trash. Step to InfraBlak, foot in your ass. That's equation, invasion of the blackness. See the black planet.
Ain't no stopping me when my theosophy is applied properly. I diabolically devise a strategy that dismembers your whole anatomy. Now, if you notice, there might have been some stumbles or some stops, but like you say in practice, that's when you miss your shots. That's when you miss your shots.
What else I got in here? Give me
Any
1 second.
instrumentals?
Yeah, I do.
You got any for my album?
Got my external.
You got it with you?
Yeah.
Let's see. What did I do with it?
You want your cornbread? Do you want cornbread with that?
But man, you said you was working at Ford, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got another buddy that work at Ford. You may know him. His name is Mallah Omar. Brother with dreads, big beard, light skinned brother.
Maybe. You know.
I'm sure it's a plan. It's a lot of people. I'm sure.
What did I do? Yeah, because actually, one of the guys who used to came down near the end of my reign at HBK, he got me the job at Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Harold Mack, Big Chud Music.
Mm-hmm.
And he had
Harold
got me
Mack.
the job there.
I remember that name.
And it was crazy. I was like I told him, like one day people was talking about hip hop and they're like, yeah, I just listen to HBK and it's talking about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, yeah, you used to listen to my show. He's like, yeah,
That's where I know your voice from.
and it was crazy.
But here, brother, I got some ideas for you too, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna run past you when this mic is off.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it.